book buddies, and welcome back to Gwen's Book Reviews, where you will find reviews on romance, action and adventure, mysteries, thrillers, and suspense. If you have a book you'd like for me to review, please do submit your request via my website. You can find the link in the description down below. And while you're there, don't forget to press that subscribe button. Now, let's head on to Boston, the setting for Retribution, the introduction to a romantic suspense series by author Wendy. As an undercover FBI agent, Kimmy is no stranger to life-threatening situations. When her newest assignment leads to the Donaghy brothers, one of Boston's biggest crime families, Kimmy is confident she can handle the pressure. But as she becomes embroiled in the lives of Finn and Lorcan, she realizes she might not be able to separate her job as Kim from the heart of Kimmy quite so easily this time. On the cusp of a mob war, Kimmy must decide who to believe and who to save. Sometimes doing the right thing means doing something very wrong. Okay, as you can see, romance, and quite a romance it will be. I mean, think about it. Undercover FBI agent, mobsters. I know already in your brain you got to be clicking like, how are they going to work this out? Surely they cannot come to an agreement, but you know what? They do, and I am happy to report it is not crazy, over the top, unbelievable. Anyway, you can say, yeah, it is, Gwen, because an FBI agent is getting with a mobster, but I mean, the way the author carries this out, I was really impressed, and I was so happy. And I was not expecting to be disappointed or anything, but you know how that can sometimes happen. But nonetheless, with every book I go in with eyes wide open, ready to be wowed, and I was wowed. I must say I had never heard of this author before. She reached out to me and asked me to review her book, and unfortunately I didn't do my research yet. I think it's her first book, may not be, but nonetheless, regardless, she has a really great writing style, and I really enjoyed the story. So let's talk about that a little bit. Kimmy is an undercover FBI agent, and then we have Karis, who is an arms dealer. That's a woman that Kimmy is already undercover with. Well, not with her, but that's her target when this book starts. And they have become good friends to where Karis really trusts Kimmy. So Karis has a history with the Donaghy brothers, which are Lorcan and Finn. And so when they, cross their paths or whatever, and Lorcan asks to, borrow or hire Kimmy temporarily, Karis gives in, and of course she'll pop back up in the book, but she does so because she has a history with these guys, and it turns out she actually was in a romance with Finn many years ago, but during one of his spells, and we're going to talk about Finn in a minute, Karis was injured, so she kind of broke ties with them, for a minute. So what you have here, let's talk about the Donaghy brothers. Finn is the oldest, and he's like 5 years older than Lorcan, and what has happened is their father was murdered inside their home, and you know how weird that had to be to them because they're mobsters, so of course they have all this security around their home with the guards and the alarms and all of that. So Lorcan believes it was an inside job. He doesn't want to believe Finn did it, but Finn is kind of out of control. I don't mean like he can't control himself as far as like he's just kind of nutty in the way he is, but he has it's like he has no conscience, or he's incapable of feeling empathy for anybody. It is all about him, power, money, and Finn. That's all Finn cares about. So, if he has something to do with their father's death, which of course put Finn in control now because he was the oldest, Lorcan is like, there's going to be a war. He's going to go to war with his brother, which he doesn't want to do. He's always, idolized his brother and wanted to be like his older brother. Now let's talk about their brotherhood. The reason Lorcan would think Finn would do it, not necessarily just to become the head of the crime syndicate or family organization, what you want to call it, is because those boys have two different mothers. And their father, I think his name was Eamon, he had Finn's mother killed. This is what they believe, that he had Finn's mother killed in order to be with Lorcan's mom and Lorcan because she's gotten pregnant. And so that made Finn really hate his father. And I was thinking he probably had some resentment toward Lorcan being the other son, but he actually wants to be close with Lorcan. He wants them to run the organization together. Of course, Finn holds the purse strings, but he doesn't want them to be divided. But Lorcan won't be able to have that if he finds out Finn has something to do with her father's murder. So you have all of this going on, and that is actually, you know, his father's murder and needing someone else on the inside to investigate is actually why Lorcan asked for Kimmy to come join his organization. He's like, well, if Finn thinks I'm interested in you, he'll want you for himself, and maybe you can get close enough to get information I'm not able to get. So that's how this all starts. But you got, you know, FBI agents having, you know, her handlers or whatever trying to, you know, watch out for her. And then she's starting to feel, you know, I don't want to say loyalty, but in a way she is. Maybe loyalty is not the best word, but she really likes Karis. It turns out, okay, it's going to sound strange because she is an arms dealer, but it turns out Karis she's not really all that bad. Like, she's not into murdering people and lending money just to kill people when they can't pay it back. She does her arms deals and she moves on. And her and Kimmy have formed like a sisterhood or something. So Kimmy is starting to wrestle with that in her head, like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to take her down, and she really trusts me, and I can see some good in her. I hope I can change her, you know, turn her good or whatever. So the same thing starts to happen with Lorcan. The closer they get, they develop feelings for each other, but there's still a job to do. Kimmy's job as an FBI agent is to bring them down, bring all of them down. Kimmy needs to find out if Finn has something to do with the father's murder, which will divide the brothers and create this war, which could be dangerous for everybody. Then there are some Russian mobsters involved who they think may have had something to do with the father's murder. So there's a lot going on, but it's not overwhelming. And it's really paced. I mean, it's fast paced, but the way the story unfolds is very easy to keep up with. And I actually started developing a soft spot for some of the characters, and they're bad people. So I was kind of like, oh, Gwen, no. But like for one, Antonio, he's a guard, and you know, he's not a major character, but he will make you remember him. I'll just put it that way. So the story is, even though we're talking about mobsters and how they kill people and all that, it's more talk than, I mean, it's not filled with murder. There are some deaths. I mean, think about, you know, the subject of the book, but it's not overrun with that, because keep in mind, this is a romance. Therefore, the romance is the center of the book. Don't get me wrong, it's not all mushy, waxing poetic and delivering flowers and all that kind of stuff, but there's some internal struggles going on. I would tell you, Lorcan's character, Finn is just crazy. If someone wrongs him, he believes that person plus their whole family should be taken out. Whereas Lorcan seems to be a product of his environment. His father was this leader when Lorcan was born, so that is how he was reared. That is how he was raised. That's all he knows. But you can see where Lorcan struggles with, you know, his conscience. It's just like, so he kind of makes this rule like, no unnecessary deaths. I mean, all of them are unnecessary, but you get what I mean. Finn goes overboard, where Lorcan kind of struggles with that. So you see that potential for Lorcan to become a good person. And I was excited about seeing how that would play out, because there was no way Finn was going to go for that. And I would have been really, really disappointed if all of a sudden Finn just had this conscience to grow and, okay, brother, I'll let you out. So glad that Wendy didn't do that. The author didn't do that. So she keeps it in the realm of believability, which is very, very important. So I really enjoyed the book. I'm going to tell you, the dialogue is on point. It's really great. And I chuckled. And it wasn't so much as it's comedy, but just some of the things they say and how they say it. And I mean, very, very smooth. Her writing is really excellent. And I look forward to some more from these characters. There is a connection there. I don't want to ruin it for you. But Kimmy has a history as well. And the book ends, it's sort of like a cliffhanger. It is a cliffhanger, but you won't feel cheated. It won't be like, oh, I can't, you know, feel like the book ended until I figure this out. But it is a great setup for the next in the series, and to my understanding, there's 2 more books. So I'm really looking forward to reading them. I really, really enjoyed this book, and it's something about the author's writing style that really clicked with me. And I mean, she is on point with her dialogue. That I want somebody to read this book and come back and tell me what you think, because I absolutely love the dialogue in this book. and her descriptions are really vivid to where I was right there. I felt the wind blowing through my hair. I can smell the food and the coffee, and she's really, really great with that. And I think we all need to keep our eye on Miss Wendy Million. So with that being said, we're going to go on to the rating. For those of you who are not aware, I use cups of coffee instead of stars. So the less the better in my case. So 0 cups of coffee is equivalent to 5 stars, because basically I'm saying how much coffee did it take me to get through the books. So 0 cups of coffee is equivalent to 5 stars, 1 cup of coffee 4 stars, so on and so forth. You get the gist. So question is, how many cups of coffee did I have to drink to get through Retribution? Let's take a look. That is right. Boom! 0 cups of coffee. I really enjoyed this book. It was different than any other romantic suspense I've read, and I have read about monsters before, but this was really different to me. I really enjoyed it, and I am anticipating reading the next book. I hope you guys read this one and join me with the next 2. So really, really great book. I loved everything about it, and I have some questions I want answered, and I can't wait to read the next book to get the answers. With that being said, that is it for today's review. Thank you guys for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Till then, happy reading.